Every day we meet people who spend their time complaining about their jobs, their families, their health, their luck, or even the weather. And maybe sometimes that person is us. We complain because things don't go the way we expect. We focus on what's missing, what's wrong, and what's unfair. But here's the truth. Complaining doesn't change anything. It drains our energy, steals our joy, and blinds us to the blessings that are already around us. We complain because things don't go the way we expect. We focus on what's missing, what's wrong, and what's unfair. But here's the truth. Complaining doesn't change anything. It drains our energy, steals our joy, and blinds us to the blessings that are already around us. The time we spend complaining is time we could spend living. It's time we could use to create solutions, to make progress, to grow, and to be grateful. Life is too short to waste on negativity. The reality is, life was never meant to be perfect. Every single person faces struggles, disappointments, and setbacks. But what separates those who rise from those who remain stuck is mindset. Some people complain about their problems, while others use them as fuel to move forward. When we stop complaining, we stop focusing on what we can't control and start putting energy into what we can. You might not be able to change your past, your boss, or the weather, but you can change your attitude. You can change how you respond. You can choose to rise above the negativity that tries to hold you back. Complaining may feel harmless, but it slowly poisons your outlook on life. It convinces you that you're powerless, that life is unfair, that nothing ever works in your favor. And the more you speak that way, the more your mind begins to believe it. Words are powerful. What you speak, you start to see. What you focus on, you attract. If you constantly talk about what's wrong, you'll start to notice only what's wrong. But if you focus on what's right, on what's working, on what's beautiful, suddenly life begins to look brighter. Gratitude opens your eyes to see what complaining tries to hide. Instead of saying, "I hate my job," try saying, "I'm thankful I have one while I work towards something better." Instead of saying, "Nothing ever goes my way," say, "Maybe this is a test to strengthen my patience." Instead of saying, "Why me?" try saying, "What can I learn from this?" When you change your words, you change your mindset. And when your mindset changes, your life changes. You can't have a positive life with a negative mouth. Your words have power, so use them to lift yourself up, not pull yourself down. Complaining also blocks blessings. When you constantly complain, you fail to appreciate what you already have. You overlook the small mercies that Allah has placed in your life every single day. The air you breathe, the food you eat, the people who care for you, the opportunities you have, the prayers that were answered without you even realizing it. Gratitude is a magnet for blessings, while complaints push them away. When you are grateful, Allah promises to give you more. But when you are ungrateful, you lose sight of even what you already possess. There's another side to complaining. It's contagious. When you complain, you spread negativity to others. Your words can drain someone's energy or fill their heart with doubt. But when you speak with faith and positivity, you can inspire others to do the same. Imagine how powerful it would be if, instead of complaining about problems, you encouraged solutions. Instead of spreading despair, you shared hope. That's how change starts, not by pointing out what's wrong, but by focusing on what can be right. Many of us don't realize that complaining keeps us stuck in the same place. We keep replaying the same story in our minds, how we were wronged, how unlucky we are, how nothing ever works out, and so we never move forward. We live in the past instead of embracing the present. The moment you stop complaining, you reclaim control over your life. You stop waiting for things to change and start being the change. You stop blaming and start building. You stop wishing and start working. The shift begins with one decision: to replace complaining with gratitude and action. When challenges come, and they always will, choose to respond with faith instead of frustration. Say to yourself, "This too is a part of my journey." Trust that Allah never burdens a soul more than it can bear. Every hardship carries wisdom, even if you don't see it yet. Sometimes what you call a problem is actually protection. What feels like a delay may be a divine redirection. Complaining blinds you to these blessings in disguise, but patience and gratitude reveal them in time. So if you want to start truly living, begin by changing the way you think and speak. Don't let negativity dominate your thoughts. Start your day with gratitude. Count your blessings, even the small ones. Speak words of encouragement, hope, and faith. When you feel like complaining, pause and ask yourself, will this complaint make my life better? If not, let it go. Replace it with something positive. Remember, every second you spend complaining is a second stolen from joy, peace, and progress. Life is happening right now, not tomorrow, not someday. And if you spend it complaining, you miss the beauty of the moment. You miss the laughter, the lessons, and the growth. So stop waiting for everything to be perfect before you start living. Start where you are, with what you have. Appreciate the good, work through the bad, and trust that everything has a purpose. When you stop complaining, you'll find that life becomes lighter, simpler, and more meaningful. Happiness doesn't come from getting everything you want. It comes from being thankful for everything you have. So take a deep breath, look around you, and recognize how blessed you already are. The sunshine, the people you love, the air that fills your lungs, these are miracles we often overlook. Don't let complaints rob you of the joy that's already within your reach. You are stronger than your struggles, bigger than your problems, and more blessed than you realize. Today, make the choice. Stop complaining. Start living. Be grateful for what you have. Work for what you want. And trust Allah for what's beyond your control. Speak positivity. Live with purpose. And let gratitude guide your heart. Because the moment you stop focusing on what's wrong, you begin to see everything that's right. And that's when life truly begins. Every day we come across people who spend a great portion of their time complaining. They complain about their work, their relationships, their financial situation, or even about minor things like the weather or traffic. And sometimes, without realizing it, we become those very people. We fall into the habit of pointing out what's wrong instead of appreciating what's right. We find comfort in expressing dissatisfaction, but we forget that complaining never brings solutions. It only multiplies negativity, weakens our faith, and blinds us to the countless blessings that already exist in our lives. The energy we waste on complaints could be used to improve ourselves, to find peace, and to truly live. Life is not a perfect journey. It is filled with ups and downs, moments of joy and moments of pain. Complaining about what's wrong will not make life smoother, it only makes it heavier. Challenges are not punishments. They are lessons, tests, and opportunities for growth. Every person faces struggles, yet not everyone lets those struggles define them. Some people use their difficulties to rise higher. They refuse to complain because they understand that complaining changes nothing, but effort changes everything. The people who succeed in life are not those who avoid problems. They are those who face them with patience, gratitude, and courage. The habit of complaining is subtle. It starts small. You might say, "I'm so tired," or "nothing ever works out for me." At first, it feels harmless. But over time, it becomes your mindset. You start to see the world through a negative lens. You begin to believe that you're a victim of your circumstances. And that belief becomes your reality. The more you complain, the more powerless you feel. But the moment you stop complaining and take responsibility for your thoughts and actions, you take your power back. You become stronger than your situation because you stop letting it control your emotions. Words are powerful. What you speak creates the atmosphere of your life. If your words are filled with complaints, your world will feel heavy and bitter. But if your words are filled with gratitude, your world will feel peaceful and full of light. When you say, "I'm thankful," your heart opens to receive more blessings. When you say, "I can handle this," your mind starts finding solutions. What you say repeatedly becomes what you believe, and what you believe becomes what you live. So, if you want to live a better life, You must first speak a better language, the language of gratitude and hope. Complaining keeps you focused on what's wrong, while gratitude shifts your attention to what's right. You may not have everything you want, but you have so much that others pray for. You may not be where you wish to be, but you are still breathing, still learning, still trying, and that is something to be grateful for. When you start seeing your life as a collection of blessings rather than burdens, everything changes. You feel calmer, more patient, more hopeful. Gratitude transforms your perspective and makes even the simplest moments meaningful. Think of how much time and energy are wasted on complaints. Every time we complain, we give away a piece of our peace. We drain ourselves emotionally without solving anything. But when we use that same energy to act, to pray, to plan, to persevere, we move forward. Instead of saying, I hate my life, say, I'm grateful for another day to make it better. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Say, what is this trying to teach me? This shift in mindset turns pain into purpose. It turns frustration into faith. It allows you to find meaning even in moments of difficulty. Complaining also damages relationships. Constant negativity pushes people away because no one wants to be surrounded by someone who drains energy. Gratitude, on the other hand, strengthens relationships. When you appreciate others, they feel valued. When you express thankfulness instead of criticism, you spread warmth instead of tension. So, not only does gratitude improve your inner peace, but it also improves the quality of your connections with others. People are drawn to positivity, to those who lift others up instead of pulling them down. The truth is, the world doesn't owe us perfection. Life will test you. You will experience disappointment, loss, and hardship. But how you respond determines how you grow. When you stop complaining, you start accepting life as it is, with its highs and lows, with its ease and struggle. You begin to realize that even in your most difficult moments, Allah is still guiding you, still watching over you, still giving you reasons to smile. Every closed door is not rejection, it's redirection. Every setback is not failure, it's preparation. When you trust this process, you no longer feel the need to complain. You start to live with patience and faith. To live fully, you must make peace with imperfection. Stop waiting for everything to be right before you decide to be happy. There will never be a time when life is flawless. But there can always be a time when your heart is grateful. The key is not to have a perfect life, but to find perfection in the life you already have. When you wake up each morning, thank Allah for giving you another chance to live, to love, to learn. When you go through hardship, remember that every difficulty carries a lesson and every storm passes eventually. You are stronger than your pain, and complaining only hides that strength. So the next time you feel tempted to complain, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this complaint going to make my life better? Most of the time, the answer will be no. Instead of feeding your frustration, feed your faith. Instead of complaining, count your blessings. Replace every negative word with a word of hope. Speak light into your life. When you shift your focus from what's wrong to what's right, you'll start to see that life is filled with moments of beauty you were too distracted to notice before. Stop complaining about what you lack and start appreciating what you have. Stop waiting for tomorrow to start living, start today. You have one life. Don't waste it focusing on what's missing. Live it with gratitude, strength, and faith. The moment you stop complaining, you'll feel free. You'll realize that happiness doesn't depend on perfect circumstances, but on a peaceful heart. Live with gratitude, work with purpose, and trust that everything happening in your life is guiding you towards something better. Stop complaining, start living. And you'll find that life has been beautiful all along. You just needed to open your eyes to see it.